Major League Baseball is officially back. The St. Louis Cardinals and Pittsburgh Pirates kicked off the 2016 regular season this afternoon, who started off on the right foot. Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines wrapped up spring ball on Friday with the Maize and Blue spring game. We have highlights and reaction from the Big House in Ann Arbor. And after 4 straight and 9 of the last 10 on the road, the Grand Rapids Griffins, they're on their way home. How did the team wrap up their long stretch away from Van Andel? And West Michigan Whitecaps Vice President Jim Jarecki joins me as the Midwest League champions prepare to defend their title. All that and more coming up on Sports Overtime. Welcome to Sports Overtime. I'm Zach Sapanik. Some call it the most wonderful time of the year. Baseball opening day kicking off this afternoon. And it was an NL Central rivalry to open 2016. Game 1 of 2,430 in the MLB regular season. Reigning NL Central champs, the St. Louis Cardinals, and runners-up in the division from a year ago, the Pittsburgh Pirates. All the suspense and build-up in the first pitch of the year, a ball outside. But Pirates starter Francisco Liriano threw plenty of strikes, one right here to strike out Yadier Molina. 6 innings of work for Liriano, 10 Ks. He even helped his own cause. Bottom of the second, a base hit to score Gregory Polanco. That put the Pirates up 1-0. Then later in the inning, John Jaso choked on the pitch, knuckles it to center field. Jordy Mercer comes around to score. The Pirates winning to start the year 4-1 over the Cards. And in the second game of the year, an AL East battle, a team many consider a World Series favorite, the Toronto Blue Jays, getting the win 5-3 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Martinsville Speedway, a track many NASCAR aficionados call the purest form of auto racing. Known as the paperclip for the shape of the half-mile track, a lot more goes into the race than just horsepower and aerodynamics. Precision, a key component to earn a win in today's STP 500. The number 22 car, Joey Logano, on the pole for the race at Martinsville. We go to lap 21, Logano cruising right along, but Paul Menard, nice move underneath to snag the lead. Keep an eye on that M&M's car sitting in third. That's Kyle Busch, and on lap 32, he passes Menard to jump out front. Then some excitement on lap 383. Michael Annett spins out in turn 2, bringing out the 6th caution of the day. No matter what, though, Kyle Busch would not be denied. He led for 352 of the 500 laps to take the checkered flag. A.J. Allmendinger finished 2nd, Kyle Larson 3rd, and Logano ended up in 11th. 4 teams started yesterday's Final Four. Go figure. All with the same dream, winning the national championship. Only 2 remain alive in the hunt, Villanova and North Carolina. The Wildcats and Tar Heels will meet tomorrow night for the title at NRG Stadium in Houston. Tip-off is set for 9:19 on TBS. Let's see how each team made it to the championship game. In the first semifinal, Villanova ran away with it, taking down Oklahoma 95-51, the biggest blowout ever in a Final Four. Junior guard Josh Hart scored a game-high 23 points to lead the Wildcats. As a team, Villanova shot 71% from the field. The Wildcats also excelled on the defensive end, limiting Sooner sharpshooter Buddy Hield to 9 points on 4 of 12 shooting. And in the second semifinal, North Carolina defeating ACC foe Syracuse 83-66. The Tar Heels advancing to the program's 10th national championship game. Senior forward Bryce Johnson led the way for UNC with 16 points as 4 Tar Heels starters scored in double figures. While the national championship is set, today the prestigious Naismith Trophy was handed out at the Final Four. For what many perceived as a 2-man race between Oklahoma's Buddy Hield and Michigan State's Denzel Valentine, it was just that. And it was Hield who edged out Valentine for the Naismith Trophy. The senior guard from the Bahamas led the Sooners to the Final Four, averaging 25 points per game this season. The 2-time Big 12 Player of the Year also won the Oscar Robertson Trophy this past Friday, and he is projected to be a high lottery pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Meanwhile, Valentine finished just behind Hield. Denzel averaged 19.2 points, 7.5 rebounds, as well as 7.8 assists, in becoming the only player in NCAA history to average more than 19 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists in one season since the assist became an official statistic in 1983-84. Both Hield and Valentine are up for the Wooden Award, the final major award for the season, which will be handed out on Friday. The women's Final Four began today in Indianapolis. Some are even calling it the UConn Invitational, as the Huskies are 120-1 since they lost to Notre Dame on March 12, 2013. All of those wins have come by double digits, as UConn is looking for the program's 4th straight title. Gino Auriemma and his Connecticut Huskies taking on the Oregon State Beavers in the first semifinal. First quarter, Mariah Jefferson drives, dishes around the defender. Morgan Tuck lays it in. Huskies up 9 in the early going. Tuck, a game-high 21. To the third quarter, nice ball movement by the Huskies around the arc. Finds Brianna Stewart, the senior, connects from downtown. UConn all over Oregon State to advance to Tuesday's championship game, 80-51. And they would play the winner of the Washington Huskies and Syracuse Orange. First quarter, Brianna Butler in traffic hits the three. Syracuse was up double digits at that point. They would go on to win comfortably 80-59 to set up a Syracuse-UConn national championship. Back to the Diamond, the West Michigan Whitecaps unveiled the team's initial 2016 roster yesterday. A pair of first-round draft picks and an outfielder with great baseball bloodlines highlight the excitement for the reigning Midwest League champions. Outfielder Derek Hill, the Detroit Tigers' 2014 first-round pick, and pitcher Bo Burrows, the Tigers' 2015 first-round pick, are the headliners. Burrows is ranked the Tigers' second-best prospect by Baseball America, while Hill, the 10th-rated prospect. Also, outfielder Cam Gibson, the son of Tigers legend Kirk Gibson, is set to be one of 11 players to make their Whitecaps debut in 2016. And with the roster announcement yesterday, I am now joined by West Michigan Whitecaps Vice President Jim Jurecki. Jim, thanks so much for joining us.
Not a problem. We're getting ready for baseball.
Yeah, no kidding. Less than a week away for the home opener, but I mean, middle of the week this week, and you guys have the season starting.
We do. Open workout on Wednesday for the first chance for the fans to come out to Fifth Third Ballpark and see the Andrew Graham-led Whitecaps defending champions in the Midwest League. So we're excited to have those guys come up from Lakeland, and obviously Mother Nature threw a little bit of a high and tight one today with us with the weather and with the snow, but we're looking forward to sunshine and good temperatures.
Now, speaking of Midwest League champions, you guys won it last year. You got the ring on from the championship last year. Take me through just the excitement that has been built for this season as you guys prepare to defend the title.
Well, obviously coming off that, when you were able to have the championship trophy come back from Cedar Rapids last year, that ride back during the middle of the night was just spectacular, and then the fans greeted the team at the Pepsi Stadium Club. But to get our 6th championship in 22 years was very, very exciting. And a lot of the guys coming back this year are some members were the team last year, so I know they've been working hard down in spring training, but leading into this season, I think we're going to have another good shot at it.
And then you gave me the replica version of the championship ring, which will be handed out to the first 1,000 fans at the home opener on Saturday. Gates open at 2, so first 1,000 fans, you get yourself a nice little replica championship ring for the West Michigan Whitecaps.
Kind of similar to the real one. I mean, it's very close. Terry Berry, local company here, produced the rings, and we were down in Florida last weekend for the ceremony to give the rings out, and the players from the Whitecaps got them all, and they were so excited about that, and one of the top design rings that we've ever had.
Yeah, very cool. A lot of bling.
Yes. But guys like that.
Now, Jim, some new features at the ballpark. Every year it seems like there's something new, whether it's a food item, safety item. What is it this year?
Well, the big thing is we always like to grow. Every year we do things at the ballpark, and we want to make sure that we have new items out there, whether it's seating, whether it's deck areas or food items. This year we expanded the 4 top areas, which were very popular. We went from 18, we added 12, so we've got 30 total tables that are behind home plate. We have padded seats that we've added behind home plate area, as well as our deck area down the first base line. We expanded that to accommodate another 20 people or so. But probably the biggest thing we've done, and big news in the off season, was the extended netting that's going to take place. Normally, obviously, the netting behind home plate, but we're taking it down the lines. Both the first and third base dugouts will now be covered, and we're getting that built, and we will have that in time for opening day. But it was really a mandate by Major League Baseball to increase the safety and security of the fans. Viewing of the baseball games has changed over the years, and people are on their phones a lot. They're out there for the social aspect of it. They're out there, to have fun, and they want to tell people where they're at.
Yeah.
And over the last couple of years, you've seen injuries increase in Major League ballparks as well as minor league ballparks, and we don't want to see that happen. We want to do it for the safety of the fans so they can thoroughly enjoy that. And I think what you're going to see is we're doing that. A couple other clubs are doing it, but I think come 2017, 18, more and more clubs are going to do that, and it's going to become the norm. But we want to be on the forefront of that.
And then I mentioned it earlier, some of the top prospects in the Detroit Tigers organization will be with the Whitecaps on the initial roster. Derek Hill, an outfielder, the 10th rated prospect by Baseball America, and then Bo Burrows, starting pitcher, 2nd rated prospect. And you also have some nice family bloodlines. Detroit Tigers legend Kirk Gibson, his son Cam, also on the roster.
Yeah, we got
that youth movement that you have. What's that going to be like? 3
great talented guys. Derek Hill obviously was here before, and he had some injuries, but I think he might be coming into his own. Bo Burrows, obviously first-round draft pick out of Weatherford, Texas, a pitcher, so he'll be one of our starting pitchers. But youthfulness is definitely the key for this, and you never know at this age if these guys have made that next step up. Bo was in the Gulf Coast League last year, pitched in 10 games after he got drafted and signed. But we're excited to have him, obviously, as the #1 pick. And obviously Gibson, with the name on the back of the jersey, it says one thing. And from talking to the guys down in Florida, he's a clone of what Kirk was as far as his competitiveness, his attitude, his gamemanship, and obviously out of Michigan State, 10th round pick. So, we're definitely looking forward to having Cam here. And, as far as the outfield goes at Fifth Third Ballpark, we know the vastness of that outfield. So when you have Derek Hill out there and Cam Gibson, and I think you got guys who can run down that baseball.
Yeah, covering a lot of ground.
You need to. You really need to. I mean, you're not going to see a lot of home runs, but I mean, you're going to see some guys flying out there.
Now, speaking of spring training, you mentioned that you were down there. Just take me through what it was like, the experience of being down there for an extended period of time, and any insight for some of the Tigers fans around here?
It's always good to get down there and see baseball in March. It's one of the best things to do there. But, going down to Tiger Town, seeing the complex and being able to talk to some of the minor league guys as far as the directors and the personnel that we have, those guys provide us with some information as far as the guys of where they were here last year, where they're going to go, and the guys up and coming. And it's one of those things that they've got over 200 guys in camp. But as the lineup was presented to us and the roster was given to us, I mean, we saw some of the guys that they did have and told us they were going to be here. So I think they put together a real good team. And obviously at the major league level, I think Brad Osmus has those guys lined up very well. Obviously, injuries is going to be the big key thing, is make sure these guys avoid the injuries and then work into a good season.
Well, we'll let you out of here on this one. Beginning the 20th year affiliated with the Tigers.
Can you just
talk about just the partnership and the relationship that has grown and how special that is. 20 years is a long time.
It is, and it's flown by. I remember the first game back in 1997. It was an hour and 42-minute ball game. Robert Fick hit a home run to dead center field.
That's an old-time name.
It is, but that's where the legacy goes. We won 1-0, and it's hard to believe that 20 years has passed since we made that affiliation switch. With that, obviously 5 more Midwest League titles. So you see what the Tigers have been able to provide. The relationship is so solid as far as being this side of the state, and the Tigers know when they send guys what type of facility they have in Fifth Third Ballpark, what type of community they have, and obviously the fan support is very, very big to them, because these guys get to play in front of 8,000 fans on a July Saturday night, so they get the atmosphere, they get the attitude. But obviously Tiger fans here get to see the future, and when these guys are here, they're always Whitecaps. So no matter where they go, they break in with the Tigers or any other major league club, they're a former Whitecap. So it's done well, and again, 20 years. We were talking about it with some of the Tiger guys. We cannot believe it. It's gone so quickly, but it's been so fantastic.
Well, 6 days, count them, 6 days until the Whitecaps home opener on Saturday. Jim, thanks so much for stopping by and joining us tonight.
We're ready to play ball.
Yeah, no kidding. We're almost there. Ever so close to baseball in Grand Rapids. Well, coming up on Sports Overtime, the Michigan spring game was Friday. We'll give you a look at the Wolverines as they enter year number 2 of the Harbaugh regime. The Golden Gloves are back, and they will have a new venue to call home for competition this year. I'll tell you where and what to expect. And the Griffins ended a long stretch on the road. Could they clinch a playoff berth? All that and more straight ahead You're watching Sports Overtime. Welcome back to Sports Overtime. On Saturday, a program all about guiding, producing, and mentoring sportsmanship is back. The Golden Gloves, taking over West Michigan. Golden Gloves features a rich 75-year history that started way back in 1927 when a sports editor of the New York Daily News conducted an amateur boxing tournament and eventually called it the Golden Gloves. The Michigan Golden Gloves have been around for over 20 years, and under the leadership of David Packer and Patrick Schmidt, they are moving the competition to the Deltaplex.
It feels like it's going to be a good move. Time will tell just where we go with it. We were seated in the Armory for so many years it was sort of hard to leave there. But now that we're on the path to taking our tournament there, it feels pretty good. I think it's going to be a good year.
Making a move after a lot of years at the Armory, I think it's going to be a real good move. And one thing that comes to mind is the parking will be a lot easier. Some people had to park down the street, across the street, and they got a little tired of doing that at times. Maybe not getting in there to get that national anthem singer at 7 o'clock. People like to watch that. Also, more room to grow.
When college football returns this fall in Ann Arbor, the Michigan Wolverines will be searching for consecutive 10-win seasons, something the program hasn't done since 2002-2003. That journey started on Friday. Jim Harbaugh looking on as his team split up into the Maize squad and the blue, doing battle in the spring game. Third quarter, game tied at 7. Redshirt sophomore quarterback Wilton Spate waltzes in from 6 yards out, capping an 11-play, 70-yard drive. It was 14-7 Maize. Fourth quarter, Houston transfer John O'Corn scrambles to his right. He would find pay dirt, dives across the goal line, 14-13. But it came down to the game's final play. The two-point conversion sniffed out and shut down. Maize team takes home the bragging rights, 14-13.
The great thing, again, is we got competition at some of the key positions on our team, and another advantage is just relearning the offense again 2 years in a row. And once we get the fall and things will start clicking, we'll have even more experience and more time playing together. It'll help us a lot.
We kept it very basic today. In the fall, same as always, same as every Michigan defense, fast, tenacious, and hungry. Hustle to the ball, want to hit you, want to get the ball back for the offense, and create as many short yardage field positions as we can for our offense. So, it's gonna be the same old, but just gonna be a notch up.
The Griffins were in Rochester tonight, taking on the Americans. Did they escape with a win? And the final tune-up before the Masters complete. Who looked sharp as Augusta nears? Coming up in Sports Overtime. With a win tonight, the Grand Rapids Griffins would clinch a fourth straight playoff berth. The only thing that stood in their way, the Rochester Americans. The Griffins wrapping up a stretch that saw them play 9 of 10 on the road. We go to the second period. Game tied at 1. Mitch Callahan redirects the pass in for the goal. Power play goal put GR up 2-1. To the third period, Griffins win the face-off, and the shot banks off the boards right in front of the goal. Louis Mark Aubrey there to put it in. Griffins going back to the playoffs thanks to a 5-2 victory. The NHL playoff chase is going down to the wire. With 1 week remaining in the regular season, the Detroit Red Wings control their own destiny. But the Boston Bruins and Philadelphia Flyers are close on their heels. But good news for Red Wings fans, the Chicago Blackhawks jumped out to a 6-0 lead today and held on for a 6-4 win over the Bruins. And the Philadelphia Flyers also falling, only at the hands of the Pittsburgh Penguins, 6-2. So the top 3 teams in each division make the playoffs. In the Eastern Conference Metropolitan Division, the Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins, and New York Rangers are firmly entrenched as the top 3. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, the Red Wings clinging to the 3rd spot, chasing the top seed Florida Panthers and 2nd seed Tampa Bay Lightning in that division. But things are close. In the wild card, the Flyers and New York Islanders, you can see, hold the 2 spots, and the Bruins not far behind. So the Red Wings' best chance at a 25th consecutive playoff berth, stay in the top 3 in the Atlantic Division. It should be a wild finish this week. Well, it's officially Masters Week, but before we get there, don't jump the gun. There was one final event that helped the pros get ready for the first major of the year, the Shell Houston Open. We have highlights next. The final tune-up before the Masters is in the books. The Shell Houston Open wrapping up today at the Golf Club of Houston in Humble, Texas. I'm sure the course did a little humbling for some of the players throughout the weekend. After a string of 5 birdies in the first 8 holes, Texas native Jordan Spieth beginning to struggle finding the water hazard here on the par 4 12th. Spieth finished tied for 13th at 8 under, along with a familiar name, Phil Mickelson. Perhaps the shot of the day, Jim Herman chipping it in for the birdie. This right here gave him the outright lead to go to 15 under. Then Herman closing things out with the par putt on the par 4 18th. Herman's first PGA win in 106 tour events. Good for him. Looking forward to the Masters, that's for sure. Well, we are down to the final seconds of overtime. On behalf of the entire production crew, thanks for staying up late with us. I'm Zach Stepanek. We'll see you right back here next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great week.